Harold Moody set up the first black liberation organisation in the UK back in 1931. Harold Moody was born in 1882 in Kingston, Jamaica. In 1904, he moved to England to study medicine at King's College, but he couldn't get any work due to the colour of his skin. He eventually set up his own practice in 1913, and he married a white English nurse named Olive Mabel Tranter, and they had 6 children together. In 1923, Harold Moody was involved in many activities, including working with the South Asian community, and over the next 7 years he helped to initiate an Indian students' hostel in Gower Street, London, where he delivered lectures. On the 13th of March 1931, he formed the League of Coloured Peoples, LCP, at a meeting at the YMCA on Tottenham Court Road in London, with the help of Charles Wesley, an African-American history professor visiting Britain, along with other founding members, Belfield Clark, George Roberts, Robert Adams and Desmond Buckle. Other well-known members included CLR James, Jomo Kenyatta and Una Marson.
I remember I was barely conscious of the black people as an organised political force. Oh yes, one knew of individual, distinguished and outstanding blacks. I mean, public adored Paul Robeson or anybody, a black boxer or, But the idea that they could organise themselves, could govern themselves, was something which, even in an advanced circle like mine, it was hard to grasp, because it was, inherent in one of them, the knowledge that most of them couldn't read and write. So how could they govern themselves? And so it was a vicious circle. You weren't going to help the blacks to learn to read and write, but you were going to say because they couldn't read and write, they couldn't organise their own lives.
The objectives of the LCP were to promote and protect the social, educational, economic and political interests of its members, to interest members in the welfare of coloured peoples in all parts of the world, to improve relations between the races, and to cooperate and affiliate with organisations sympathetic to coloured people. In an address delivered by Moody at Friend's House on the 18th of October 1932, he emphasised that, for the practical purpose of the League, our work is mainly confined to people of African descent, and at present mainly West Indian and West African, although we have some Indians in our ranks. In the early years, the LCP was more of a social club, but as the organisation progressed, they campaigned on political issues, such as the working class struggles in the Caribbean, the campaign to restore British citizenship to coloured seamen in Cardiff in 1936, and against the colour bar in Britain. The LCP gained influence during the Second World War and lobbied for the rights of black servicemen and women in the armed forces. In 1944, the LCP organised a conference in London, and a Charter for Coloured Peoples was drawn up. Harold Moody's efforts to address issues in the UK on race discrimination and equal rights were the core inspiration for others in the UK who set up organisations thereafter, with LCP being the first black-led recognised organisation in the UK. In the winter of 1946, Harold Moody went on a tour of the West Indies in order to raise money for a cultural centre in London. Sadly, he fell ill and died shortly after his return to London in April 1947. The LCP continued for a few more years, but closed in the early 1950s. That was the short biography on the life of a great man, Harold Moody.